so happy, my hair so nappy, had an afro.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's Arsenal versus Brentford. I'm 2 hours before the game, by the way, so team sheet's not going to be out for another hour. But I always like to just catch up with you guys anyway and just give my thoughts on the game as a whole. And I will try to go back to doing previews on a Thursday because you guys really enjoyed that. And I've been getting so many messages saying, Apollo, if your health is a bit struggling, then can you even try and do previews, even if it's for 5 minutes? So I'll try and start that ball rolling again, and because as you can hear, I'm improving all the time, and I'm at the point now where I can add more content to the channel. So everybody's asking, does this game have the capability to be a banana slip? It's a tough question. Look, we're unbeatable at the moment. We're not allowing anybody to get a shot on target. We're scoring 5, 6 goals, 4 goals every week. But here's the intangible. There's one defining factor in this game today, and that was last season, Ivan Toney was the only striker who got the better of William Saliba. So let me just put that out there for a second. When Brentford came to the Emirates, and I know the line was all messed up and VAR, yeah. We don't want to talk about that. But after that game, when we saw the performance of Ivan Toney against William Saliba and the hold-up play and the fact that Saliba couldn't get anywhere near him, a lot of teams started to copy. That was the beginning of our downfall, I think, if you guys remember. Because a lot of teams started to realise they can't play against our midfield. Our midfield are too talented, they press too hard. Thomas Partey had way too much control in there. And so when they saw what Brentford did, which was, look, we can't deal with Partey and Odegaard, so let's just put the ball over their heads. So they went from playing out the ball at the back, long ball straight over to Ivan Toney. David Raya had a lot to do with that as well, but just in general, their tactic was to just play the ball 60 yards over to Ivan Toney and let him terrorise Arsenal, and that's what he did. And while their goals shouldn't have stood, yeah, all of that would have accounted for nothing. So even though I'm standing here saying, you know, it was their great tactic, it was the one thing that they had over us, they still really didn't produce anything out of it. So the underlying concern here was that last year when we played them, we didn't score enough goals. That was the truth. We only scored 1 goal. And at the moment, we're banging in goals left, right and centre. And today is kind of the prelude to the Tuesday Champions League game against Porto, which, by the way, we're streaming. I'll be streaming that, so don't worry about that. But I think that is the only concern today is, has William Saliba grown enough to deal with? Because you saw what he done to Haaland in 2 games, 0.0 XG, and Haaland's considered the best. But with Ivan Toney, he's back fit now, and then he's starting today. Well, we don't know if he's going to start today, but I'm sure he will. And that, for me, is the matchup. But I think that doesn't dictate the fact that Arsenal are just terrorising teams on the other end. I mean, how are they going to stop Arsenal? Arsenal are dominating the midfield. Sure, they're going to go for that tactic. I know the game hasn't started yet, but I'm telling you now, Brentford is going to go for the long ball tactic. It's the only thing they can do, because Arsenal will just suffocate them like they've suffocated every other team. So they will play the long ball up to Saliba. But Gabriel's in such fine form. Ben White's improved his play. Kivior at the moment is undroppable in my opinion. You can't drop Kivior right now. But there's so much going on in the midfield that even if you decide not to start Havertz, then you've got an option of having Havertz or Declan Rice supporting taking out Ivan Toney. And it just gives Brentford nothing. It just doesn't give him anything. I'm expecting Jesus to play a part in today's game. I wouldn't put him up top. I would put him on the left in Martinelli's place, which I've been saying every week. How many times have I been saying put Jesus on the left, put him on the left, put him on the left? And then hopefully we might see Trossard today. That's what you can do. Because you know the threat of Ivan Toney, so you can still play your false 9, but you can have more solidarity in the midfield and then taking care of Ivan Toney. Regardless of what happens today, guys, Ivan Toney's got to be marked out the game. He's got to be marked out the game. He's been in fine form. I'm still not his biggest fan. And I definitely don't think he's an Arsenal player. That's for sure. But the one thing about these strikers is how much they get injured. Haven't you ever thought about that? Callum Wilson, Isak, Ollie Watkins before this season couldn't stay fit. Solanke's just come back into the team today. They just can't stay fit. Jesus, look at him. What is it with these strikers, guys? There are a bunch. There's about 6 or 7 Premier League. There's only 20 teams. There's about 6 or 7 strikers that constantly, every single year, just miss an abundance of games. Yeah, it doesn't happen to Liverpool and Man City. Why? Why doesn't it happen to them? Happens to everybody else except for the Liverpool and Man City. But it seems to happen everywhere else. So I know people are talking about 80 million, 90 million, 100 million. But you're looking at paying that amount of money for a guy who can't suit up all season. That's my concern. I've got a real big concern about spending all that money on a top striker. But that's another video. But for today, guys, that's all I really wanted to talk to you lot about. It was the main tactic about Brentford and what they will do. But in fairness, it doesn't matter. If Arsenal come in today and start banging the goals in and going crazy up front, fast movement, penetration, runs beyond the back line, then it doesn't really matter what Brentford do. It doesn't matter what Ivan Toney does, because he just won't have a chance to do anything against this Arsenal team. So let's revisit the team sheet and I'll catch up with you guys later. Peace out, guys. Team sheet is out and it looks like they have gone for Trossard starting, and so it looks like it's going to be in attack mode. 4 at the back. Ramsdale, obviously, you guys know, is in goal. It's the 4 at the back: Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba and Ben White. But it's going to be the 2 in the middle, Jorginho and Declan Rice, who's holding the fort there. Team sheet's up here. And the front 4 players is going to be Odegaard, it's going to be Havertz, it's going to be Trossard and Saka. And that's going to be the formation to dominate play on the front line, and then have Jorginho and Declan Rice recycle the ball back. And that's what we've been doing for the last few weeks, few months, and it's been really working well. And I think that we're going to play more through the middle centrally, and that's where we're going to try and dominate them. And I think it's decent. And look, I've been an advocate for Trossard to be replacing for Martinelli for a while, but then more so Jesus because of that left-hand side. But then teams can't double team the flanks if you're moving the play through centre, and that's really what we've been doing over a while. I heard some sad news now that Neto's been injured again. The guy just can't stay fit, and I'm not sure if he's got any market value if he keeps on having these Jack Wilshere type seasons. He's not good for Wolves, wouldn't be good for Arsenal, so it might be time that you kind of look somewhere else, because it's every single season this has been happening. But back to the plan with Arsenal. 2 in the midfield should take care of Ivan Toney getting through, and at the back you're going to solidify that defence with a clean sheet today. I'm going for a 3-0 win today. Looking forward to the game on Tuesday against Porto, but again, very important you get a clean sheet today. So 3-0 is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going off now to meet Michelle. Atmosphere still kicking off here, as you can see. Hour before the game, making my way in. I'm going to actually try and catch some of the Formula 1. And I was saying, because of Ramadan, they've been putting these races on Saturday into the Sunday. Sunday when everybody is relaxing and they're all nice and at home and all cozy and tucked in. These Saturday races don't work for me, man, because I'm not even seeing the qualifying because I'm at work on a Friday. So it's anyway, less about Formula 1, more about today. Gooners 3-0 win, and I'll speak to you guys at half time. Arsenal won, Brentford won, and that's the reason why Aaron Ramsdale is not your starter. Quite simply, don't know what he was thinking of, just awful. And look, I thought he was having a decent game before that. I thought his distribution was fantastic. He set up 2 really good chances, one for Trossard on a one-on-one, but you just cannot have that at this level. And he was doing that last season in terms of the amount of mistakes he was making, and he just makes too many mistakes. And I think this is really indicative of why Arteta has benched him. And there's been no discussion as far as David Raya and Ramsdale at all in the last few months. Like, no one's talked about it. But it was just absolutely, just took the air out of the stadium when that goal went in, which was just a minute ago actually. And before that, Arsenal playing well, recycling the ball, had tons of chances. The goal, fantastic cross by Ben White and the header by Declan Rice, really deserved their lead. Strange it was only 1-0 before Brentford equalised. But you can see what they're doing in terms of the formation. That double pivot works really well in the midfield, and then they're able to get Havertz and Declan Rice into the box and just add that different element. This is the reason why those advanced roles worked last season for Xhaka. Xhaka had 7 goals last season. Declan Rice already has 7 in the same situation as an advanced player. And we're only in March, we're at the beginning of March. So it just goes to show you the level of Declan Rice addition to this team. 100 million, I think that's good value. I think that's a good value deal because he's worth way more than that. But overall, really disappointment. Aaron Ramsdale again, just sucking the air out of the stadium. And we're going to have to make up for it in the second half. There's not really much I can add to that because it really tapped off really what was a frustrating first half. The amount of chances that we've had, sometimes just not pulling the trigger when we should have been. But let's see what happens, guys. I'm really surprised by that goal that's let in by Aaron Ramsdale now, but let's see what happens. So guys, it's Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. What a game. I mean, it's just madness right here. It's just absolute madness. I don't know who to give man of the match to because Ben White got 2 assists. Really, I think I'm going to share man of the match to Ben White and William Saliba. Those two get my man of the match. Saliba really making up after that game last season when Ivan Toney bullied him, and he's come back today and proved that if not top 5, then probably the best centre-back in the league or in the world really. When you look at today's performance against Ivan Toney, he's probably got the best hold-up play of any forward in this league, and he's just absolutely kept it quiet. Ivan Toney didn't have nothing today. They bailed out Aaron Ramsdale out, man. They bailed him out. Ramsdale, to his credit, made 2 good saves as well. But honestly, guys, it was the persistence. The referee did not help. Kai Havertz now, 4 goals in his last 4 games for Arsenal. Everyone talking about a striker. Arsenal look like they've got one right now. People are comparing him to early Robin van Persie. And at 24 years old, Havertz has got a long way to go. But if he keeps on playing like this and he keeps on scoring, then you've got to ask yourself what they're going to do in the summer, because they really have got a good striker in Havertz. I thought he was a bit quiet today, but when it counted, he came up, always in a position, and that's what he does best. Powerful header, and both of the goals today were headers, both delivered by Ben White. It was just a perfect result for us. I'm so happy now. I'm about to meet Michelle. It's just unbelievable, man. Shakira's song spreading around the Emirates. The players are walking around throwing their fists up in the air. Arsenal top of the league. Over to you, Man City, Liverpool. Speak to you later, guys. Peace out.
We made it this far, so I can't complain. Let's take, yeah.